Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Carlos.Love from Talkaholic Junction and also our second channel, Vile Ventures. Anything and everything scary. And this podcast, we're pretty much going to be just talking about, like I said, anything and everything scary, as in, you know, UFOs, ghosts, demons, boogeymans, true crimes, a thing that goes bump at night, everything you can think of that scares you. That's what we're going to be talking about in this podcast. Um, so I did already record this episode, but I didn't like the intro because I did it over Zoom with Mike. He's one of the guests, and I didn't like the intro, and I didn't like the way I told the story. So I'm gonna do it again in the beginning, and then we're gonna switch over to Mike, and he's gonna give us his side of the story. I didn't bring that up. We're gonna be talking about how me and him and a group of us went to Bobby Mackey's. We're gonna be telling the stories of us and of Bobby Mackey's all in this podcast, and we're gonna break it down the two parts. Okay, audio listeners can't see this, but I said two parts, but I got two up and one right here. I don't know. Don't judge me. Um, so let's start it off. Bobby Mackey's Music World, aka the Gateway to Hell, is located in Wilder, Kentucky. It is a popular nightclub full of dancing and good times, but with a really, really, really messed up and sinister past. Like when I say messed up, I mean messed up. So, on the same site in 1950, Bobby Mackey's used to be a slaughterhouse. It was a meat packing facility in Kentucky, well, Northwest Kentucky. And for everybody that's wondering, Wilder, Kentucky is pretty much right across the bridge from Cincinnati. And that slaughterhouse had a well. And pretty much all that blood, guts, and waste from the animals would just be like going down into the well, out into the Ohio River. And that's one reason why I don't recommend swimming in Ohio River. But hey, some of y'all are nasty and do that type of stuff. I ain't gonna judge, but it is what it is. Um, but some researchers have speculated that after the slaughterhouse closed in the 1890s, satanic cults actually took over. Um, that's what they believe happened after it was a slaughterhouse, and I can believe it. I most definitely can believe it, cause it was really, really, like, the vibes there are wild, really wild, and there's plenty of messages around that area, and plenty of message, like, you like I said, we'll get into that later on once we talk to Mike. But it's really, really wild. I can believe that people did some fucked shit over there. I really can. But let's get to Pearl Bryant's. In 1896, she was murdered in Greencastle, Indiana, and it made headlines in the regions all over because Pearl was a headless corpse and was discovered uh, in a field less than 2 miles from that slaughterhouse, Bobby Mackey's. Pearl was pregnant at the time too, and her boyfriend Scott Jackson, a student at Ohio College of Dental Surgery, wanted her to get an abortion in Cincinnati, but pretty much she wouldn't. So him and his roommate, what's his name? Him and his roommate Alonzo Walling attempted excuse me, but they attempted to do the abortion by themselves, and that did not end up well at all. And I don't know what fully happened, but the abortion didn't work out, and they flipped out. And to cover up the tracks, they try to hide the body, and they try to hide the body, But not only did they try to hide the body, they cut her head off because they thought, no head, no face, no case. That they thought that. But they were ignorant and they were still discovered at the end of the day. And the thing that's wild about it is her head was never discovered. But her body was. Her head was never discovered, but her body was. And that's very, very, very eerie when you think about it. Whew. At the same time, Jackson, the dental worker, was also known to have ties with satanic cults and dark rituals. And it's said that he held rituals in the basement of that slaughterhouse. So not only did he decapitate his quote unquote girlfriend, he also did rituals on that slaughterhouse. So the whole situation is just fucked and mind blowing, honestly. Let's get more into it. So during the prohibitions in the mobster years, the slaughterhouse was demolished and built into a casino, nightclub, and a speakeasy. So it's built in those three. So you already know what happened. You know the mob, you know the mafia, y'all know how they roll. So plenty of deaths, plenty of alcohol, plenty of crime, plenty of all that. So nothing but negativity added on top of what happened. So this area's like Wilder, Kentucky. I'm not gonna lie, it's not even just Bobby Mackey's that's eerie. Wilder, Kentucky as a whole is very eerie and weird because it's almost like nobody lives there. Whether you go during the day or night, it's just empty. Just empty. Very empty. Alright. So when the prohibitions ended in 1933, Buck Brady bought the building and named it Primrose. After more than a decade of successful operation, his casino caught the attentions of Cincinnati mobsters who tried to muscle their way into the operation. When Brady refused to sell, the violent... my fault. When Brady refused to sell, the violence escalated with fighting. So pretty much, if you don't want to sell this thing, we're just going to take it from you type of attitude. And Buck ended up drawing a gun at one of the mobsters named Albert Red. And he ended up being charged with attempted murder and left the casino business in 1946. So the building was abandoned again. And then the building reopened in 1950s. And it was called Latin Quarter. And Joanna, that's what it is. Joanna. She was a dancehall girl and the daughter of the nightclub owner. She fell in love with one of the singers that came up all the time and ended up getting pregnant. And the father found out, was pissed off about it, so he killed the singer. And when Joanna discovered that, she took her own life in the basement, which is wild because, like I told you, they were doing all them rituals in the basement. So rituals in the basement, no telling what the mobs did in that basement, and then a own life taken in the basement. And yeah, that's just a wild history. And then, like I said, after all that happened, in 1978, after a series of fatal shootings at the Rough and Tumble nightclub, God, the history here sucks. The local authorities were forced to close the establishment again. And then finally, we get to the Bobby Mackey, a young country singer who purchased the building. He turned it into a music hall, and it still stands there today. But it's hella spooky and hella scary. But Bobby Mackey himself is skeptic and low key does not low key. He doesn't believe anything is going on there. He doesn't believe that there's ghosts or demon or anything going on in his own bar, which is wild, wild. Um, so that's pretty much the story of Bobby Mackey. Um, I mean, just a lot of paranormal things happen there. People will go to the bathroom alone to get scratches. People go in the tunnel and see things. Bobby Mackey is just a weird, scary, and just uncomfortable place. And I would not recommend going there at all. With a group, without a group, it doesn't matter. Don't go. I would not recommend there. I would not recommend it. Um, but to get the ball rolling into our story, it starts off with me. We watched the Ghost Adventure about Bobby Mackey earlier that day. Me and a couple guys on the football team, and I thought it'd be funny if I'd come back to them later on with a ripped shirt, a little sweaty, and like freak them out and make it seem like I went to Bobby Mackey's and left my stuff there. And I thought it'd be a funny joke. And I ended up doing it, and it worked out. And this guy named Mark, he helped me out with it too, because he came sweating, shirt ripped, and they believed it. So we all hopped in a car, and then there was a second car with us, and we started going down the hill. So I went to a small Christian college in Cincinnati called Cincinnati Christian University. It actually shut down back in 2019 because the president sucks and the school does not. The school sucked in general when it comes to the higher ups. Every single one of y'all there, y'all sucked. I want y'all to know that. But anyways, CCU has this big hill. So by the time we get in the middle of that hill, I start laughing. I'm like, hey, we ain't got to go. Stop it. Let's turn back and go back up and chill. We ain't got to go here. I was playing. My stuff is in my room. The dude driving turns around, looks at me and says, fuck all that shit. We going. Me being pussy. Tense up. And I can't do nothing. You know why? Because I'm in the middle of the seat. I can't go out the doors. I'm stuck. So, what do? I go for the ride because I'm stuck. All right, let me stop playing. The drive there was smooth until we hit the bridge to get into Wilder, Kentucky, and that's when everything kind of took like a 180, and it was quiet, like quiet, not like a normal night quiet, but like a where the hell is everybody quiet, like Courage the Cowardly Dog quiet, like it was weird. It didn't make sense why. It just didn't make sense. So we finally get there, and as soon as we pull up there, a police car drives past, then turns back around, comes in a lot, and he comes over, and we talk a little bit. But one of the last things he said to me that I remember is he says, if anything happens, don't call us. I don't know about y'all, but hearing something like that, no. Why are we here? Why? Nah, it's too much. But you know what? We're going to keep it going. We're going to keep it pushing. And that's what we did. And I regret it. We finally get away from the police officer. He drives off. And a all-white Ford Focus '07 pulls up. Some dude, his right side of his face looked like Freddy Krueger's. Like it looked like he burnt his face. He drives past and mean mugs us. Slows up and then drives off and keeps going on. And we're all like, that's weird. So we kind of pause and now we're just kind of talking in front. Haven't done anything yet. And then the dude in the Ford Focus comes back again. Pulls back in the lot. And then looks at us, mean mugs, and then drives off. Now, I'm not sure how true this is, but I was told that there was a wreck in front of Bobby Mackey's and a man in a Ford Focus actually passed away in that car wreck. I'm not for sure if that's true. I was told that, but it's hearsay. I don't know. But if that's true, whew, that's too much. Too much. So after all that weird stuff, and after all those signs to leave, we decide to go to the back of Bobby Mackey. So we get back there. It's all grass. It needs to be cut. It just looks just like an old ass house, honestly, from the back with a weird attic. That's all it looks like. It's just like a weird thing. I mean, I'll post pictures of Bobby Mackey on my page on Vile underscore Ventures, or either it's Vile Ventures. I can't remember. It's one of those two. Look them up. And I'll post pictures of Bobby Mackey and what it looks like so y'all get a picture of everything in the train tracks. But like the back of it just weird. We just walking around. We just doing the bare minimum at this point at Bobby Mackey's. And then out of nowhere, the guy at the door, like at the door handle, he tells us to be quiet. He stops, we stop, everybody stops. And it just gets quiet. You don't hear birds. You don't hear bats. You don't hear the grasshoppers, crickets. You don't hear nothing. You don't hear a thing. And then we seen footprints in the grass. I never ran as fast as I did. I've never ran that fast before in my life. Never, never, never before. And the thing that's wild is the person in front of me, his hamstring, I think, was either pulled or ripped, but he was taken off. He was not about to be last. And I was not about to be last either. I don't know who was last, and I wasn't worried about it. All I know is I got my black ass in that Cadillac, and we got up out there. All that happened. We get back to the dorms, and we're laughing. We're having a good time. Because it's a weird feeling. Like, yeah, we were scared, but something about getting away and like coming back to school and like nothing happened to us excited us. I don't know, some type of just dopamine effect that just hit you. I don't know. So me being the dumbass I am, I decided to get 25 plus people to go the next night. Don't know why. I don't know why. But I decided to get 25 plus people to come with us. And before we went, I won't lie, but I was told, don't know how true it was, that a few people stole some things from Walmart, flashlights and equipment for the trip. But I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I don't know. But I know we had flashlights at Bobby Mackey's that second night. I'm just saying. But the second night is wild. That's where Mike comes along. That's where Ashley comes along. And pretty much I stay in the car the whole time. I don't really do much because I already seen that shit and I was not dealing with it. I was not dealing with it at all. So this should be kind of where I transfer this over to Mike. I think I'm going to throw in him talking about the railroad tracks first. And then I'm going to get into his story. And then, yeah. But that was my side of everything. That was the history of Bobby Mackey. Please continue to listen. Listen to Mike's side. And, excuse me. There won't be no outro. It's just going to end with a song. I'm not going to tell you what song. But I would like to say, please follow Vile underscore Ventures on Instagram. There's a link tree on there. And it has Venmo, Cash App, YouTube, and Spotify. Like I said, we haven't made a Patreon yet. But you could donate. You could do wherever you want. Like I said, everything is going to the podcast. And if you want to do also we're gonna do pick movies, as in like at a certain price. I haven't picked yet, but at a certain price, you could pick a movie for us to review, and I will review it with you or for you, wherever you want, and I'll watch it. And yeah, but like I said, we'll get everything handled and under control as time comes along. I'm new at this. This is my first time. So y'all are here to pop my cherry with me. Pause. I don't know if I'm gonna keep that in or not. I don't know. Either way, thank y'all for listening. This is Mike Marble, and y'all have a great night. And Mike, that is the woman in white you seen.
Okay. Now, I will say this. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and even break it down to the point where this stuff even like happened. All right. So for anybody, and I'm not saying this is this is something old. I'm not going to say the date and time, but this is something old. So no one can go back and say we did this or we did that. This is
Yeah.
very, very old. So if you know how Bobby Mackey's is set up, even if you want to go on Google Earth and look at it, Bobby Mackey's is set up where if you're driving um out of Cincinnati, like through Newport and whatever, you pass it, it'll be on your right. But if you're going towards Cincinnati, Wilder, Kentucky, it'll be on your left. So it sits, I don't even know how many acres it would be, but there's like a huge parking lot outside the place. And the bar and whatnot, the actual building sits on the right. But behind the building, there's a railroad track that crosses like, however long it is. Then behind that railroad track, there's a bunch of trees. So, we went that one night. There was a group of us. We got there, hopped out the beginning, looking at the geography of like the place. There's a railroad track and there's trees in the back. And it goes into the Ohio River because you'll see the tunnel and like that the outlet and it'll like drain to the Ohio River. So and there's also like concrete structures out there. I never knew what it was. It's probably like some destroyed thing. I really don't know, or it could just be part of it. But there's like probably like a group of like 10 or 12 of us, and we're walking through the forest. And I knew this was bad because I'm towards the end of the line. Everyone has the flashlights out, and I tell everybody, "Look, bro, keep your flashlights out and always point one to the back." You know. So as I'm like second to last in the back. I'm pointing my flashlight. I keep surveying because I'm like, "Look, we gotta have them in certain ways." You know what I mean? If you're not looking that way, let me look this way. But like for me, I was doing it all the way because I'm like, I want us to be able to see where we're at. And it got to the point, like after like probably like 45 seconds or a minute, the dude behind me kept pointing the light like past my ear, like so I could see it through my peripheral. I'm like, bro, what you doing? Point to the back. As soon as I said point to the back, I saw my breath. That's one thing
Jeez.
I saw my breath. In my mind, I said, fuck. Like, I'm really telling you, like, when I saw my breath, I knew something was wrong. Cause, like, for me, I know when dealing with entities, you have to be respectful of them. But then also, there's certain things that happen when they're around. Like, the temperature gets colder, right? So when I saw my breath, I'm like, damn, I think we done fucked up. So we get down to the tunnel, and people are going in one by one. So as we get through the tunnel, we get to like a drainage well, I guess you could say, where there's a gate that's above us, so we can look up and look at the moon and the stars and stuff, right? But in this little drainage like area, like the square, there's just writings all over these walls saying hell is this way, and it's pointing towards the tunnel, like going into like the building or wherever it's leading to, and it just gets more and more like concave. It gets smaller and smaller, so it goes from like this wide, then it eventually gets this small where people have to crawl inside of it. And when it said hell is this way, I told, and like I said, there's like 10 or 12 of us. I said, "Hey, look, bro, I'm not gonna do that." That's it. That's no. This is enough right here. So about like 9 or 10 people kept going, and me and like 3 other folks, we left out. So we got the tunnel. We climbed on like top of it, so it could be an easy way to get out. So that's when we come across like the fallen structure or whatever it was. Something is like demolished over there. And as we're walking by, we cross the train tracks. We come out the forest, we cross the train tracks. The same drainage area I was telling you about, like it's a box where you can look up and see the stars and stuff, look at the moon. We can see down in there. So the above ground now. So we can see people coming out with flashlights. So like, all right, cool. So we see Carlos and the rest of you guys at the car. So we're like, all right, cool. We finna go ahead and leave.
Oh, Mike, you forgot about the text messages and phone calls.
Oh yeah. So when I told people I'm not going down the cave, like the tunnel when it got smaller and smaller, Carlos called me 3 times. He texted me 3 times saying get out, and that was like even more of a sign. I'm like, yeah,
But the thing that's so fucked about it is I remember that and I text you one time and I called you once. That's it. I didn't call you more than one time and I didn't text you more than one time. And you already know the thing. They say the devil comes in three.
Yeah. So, and that's something I thought about in the back of my mind. That's what kind of even like tripped me out a little bit more because I'm like, bro. Anyway, as we're walking back, we can see people coming out with the flashlights. So when we get to the cars, we see everybody, we whatever. We turn around, and mind you, the geography of it, we're in the parking lot. So as we turn around, we can see the railroad track and the forest behind, just where we just came from. But there was something high in the sky, like mimicking a flashlight. And I think I said something first. I was like, damn, they ain't come out the tunnel that quick. Cause I'm saying like as soon as we got literally dap y'all up, like, hey, we cool, we here. As soon as we turn around, something mimicking the flashlight we just seen in the distance. So like that's pretty quick to be there, but also it's pretty high because this, mind you, y'all, this thing is probably like 20 feet in the air, mimicking this flashlight. And as soon as I said that, the flashlight dropped, and there was a girl on all fours. Like, I don't want to say like no Spider-Man pose, but on all fours, kind of like hunched over. And I'm looking, and then she ran into a bush. I said, did y'all niggas just see that shit? Like, I started getting mad. I'm like, y'all just seen that shit? And everyone, and this is why I knew I wasn't tripping. Through my peripherals, I seen everyone just like this. Y'all were just like this. Like, y'all were frozen. So I'm like, that's what even made me more mad because like, I know I'm not tripping. So when I said that happened, I started getting even more mad because I'm like, I know I just didn't see this. And I
And I ain't
know,
making no better.
yeah, and he's like, and Carlos is like, yeah, just ignore it. And I'm like, ignore it? What you mean ignore it? What I know
Hey,
you
hey, look, growing up, I'll always I taught myself whenever I see some scary shit, I ignore it. That's about the best way I can deal with shit. I'm gonna be honest with you, Mike.
uh, um I can see the logic, but it's just like that was too evident. Then after that happened, people were walking back. And after that, I was just like, yeah, bro, we gotta get out of here.
Yeah, and that's where we're gonna cut that where the story is for right now. But like we ain't gotta stop. Like after all that, like shit was just fucked. That was probably the scariest situation, like paranormal wise, I've ever been through, and I'll never do nothing like that again. And at the same time, we probably did deserve that because the equipment we got to go to the tunnels, yeah, we stole it from Walmart on Glenway. And like the Walmart in Glenway, I believe is what I take that back. We didn't steal it. That's hearsay. Hearsay. It's hearsay.
Yeah, they ain't stealing nothing.
I plead the fifth. You know what? Let me rephrase. I heard a few people, that went with us took some things from Walmart on Glenway, but I don't know how true that is. But it is what it is. But at the same time, Glenway is number one when it comes to robberies. And
yeah, that's true. I was just saying, them folks had equipment. I don't shit. They got equipment, and I don't even know what equipment you talking about. They were really being honest. The equipment. I'm like, we had equipment. What was the equipment?
Flashlights. That's it.
I was using my phone. That was the crazy part.
No, man, the Bobby Mackey's is just a wild place. Like the energy you get from being there is wild. Like I don't know if you felt the same way, Mike, but like as soon as you get there, you feel uncomfortable.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie. This is what I compare it to. I compare it to going out in a nightclub in Atlanta, right? But you walk in there knowing everybody got a gun for one, two, everybody got a Hellcat. Then for three, a couple of these dancers in here are niggas. That's the type of vibe. Like, damn, I feel like I just got stuck in my own bubble. Like, this don't feel right. Like, I could either die or I could get set up, or a motherfucker could try and play me. Like, damn, I'd rather die. So that's what I compare it to.
No, I feel it. I feel it, man. But hey, that's this first episode. This is part one of Bobby Mackey. I want to thank Mike for being on here and allowing us to use this time to tell a story. I already know this first one probably isn't the greatest. I'm not gonna lie to you, Mike. I might mess around and redo the intro. I might mess around and redo telling the story of Bobby Mackey and bringing that back in, but we'll figure it out. Like I said, it's something new, and all you can do is make mistakes and learn from them. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean that's all you can do.
But hey, Mike, is there anything you want to plug on here before we dip out? Go.
The only thing I can say is, whoever does watch this for future purposes, just know this: save your money and stay to yourself. That's the one thing I can say. Save your money and stay to yourself, bro. I mean, shit, whatever. This is what it is now.
All right, you heard it here, people. Save your money and stay to yourself. All right. Well, I don't have an outro, so bye.